When I was younger, I was very much guilty of this myself. It was the feeling that actually I didn't really like my job, so I just wanted to retire. And I wanted to retire as early as I could. But I think that feeling that you have when you're young is that people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, you just think kind of their ambitions in their life is over. And you think all they want to do is, go and play golf or go for holidays in their motorhome or something. Now I've got to that age, I feel very different. When I was first transitioning my career from working in the lighting industry to becoming a full-time professional photographer, I went on a weekend retreat to try and help me assess where I wanted to go in my life and how to build my business, and had this idea about building a creative agency. And I remember somebody else on that weekend retreat, they were probably in their 30s, saying to me, "You don't want to be starting an agency at your age." And that really got my hackles up. At my age, I think that's one of the great lies of our time. When people get to our age, they haven't got any ambition anymore. And I think it's a lie too, otherwise you wouldn't be here. I'm 64 now. I'm still very driven. I've been doing this YouTube channel for about 4 years, and it hasn't really made me much money, but I enjoy it. It gives me also a reason to get up and to do creative stuff. And I love sharing my experiences with you, and I love reading your comments. So thank you to all those who take the time to do that. And I'm partly, I guess, one of my motivations is Colonel Sanders. He didn't start franchising Kentucky Fried Chicken till he was 65. He went on to sell it when he was 74 for a couple of million. And that was a lot of money back in those days. I think it was in the 70s. And I regularly see in my mentoring clients, the tremendous ambition they have, even though they're often in their 60s too. And one of the things that really inspired me, and this is what the message I wanted to put out there today. I listened to a podcast. It's called F-Stop, Collaborate and Listen. You can see what he did there. And on it, it's run by a guy called Matt Payne, and he is one of the founders of the Natural Landscape Photography Awards. And one of his guests was a guy called Patrick Crone, who runs an agency called the One-Eyed Dog Studio. No surprises, he has a one-eyed dog. But my point is, Patrick won the award for In My Backyard. And I think the rules are that you have to take everything within a 25-mile radius of your home. And he just goes to his local park. He takes pictures on his commute, and he's won. It's a pretty prestigious award. It's an international competition. So that really inspired me to say, oftentimes the greatest thing about photography is you can fit it around your busy life. So today, I got a phone call. In fact, yesterday, I got a phone call from my daughter. She runs an amazing little coffee shop, and she said, could I collect some cakes from her because the supplier was very local to me? So sure, I said, no problem, I'll bring them down to you tomorrow. And it meant I could come to a location, and that's where I've come today. I just changed my day around to find a location that was 10 minutes from her coffee shop. So that's the marvelous thing about this hobby, is you can work it around your lifestyle. But not only that, as Patrick Crone just proved, you can achieve great things with it. You can give yourself real purpose, no matter what age you are. Let me show you where I am. I've come to a place called Rampside, and there's an old wreck here. It's called the Vita Nova. I think it was wrecked in 1967, and it's an old Belgian trawler. And I thought it would make an interesting subject for a black and white fine art photo and help me continue my journey. While you're looking at that, let me just bust a few myths for you about photography. So myth number one is that you need all the gear, and you don't. What I'm trying to do, especially now I've got older, is take the minimal amount of gear I can get away with. Typically one camera and one lens, and today I'm going to use my A7R5 with my 24-70 lens, and that's it, and some ND filters. Oh, and a tripod, of course, because I want to do a long exposure. Myth number two is you need to go to dramatic locations, Iceland, the Death Valley, all these sort of places. And you don't. I think Patrick Crone just proved that by winning an international award by photographing everything inside his backyard. And then the final myth is that I really want to dispel, and I believe this will resonate with many of you who are watching this, is when you get a bit older, that your best work is behind you. I still feel I have a lot to do. And the passing of time and getting older brings with it a number of benefits. I'm learning more. I'm getting better at my photography. I'm practicing more. I've taken more photos. And ultimately, I can take a better photo than I could 10 years ago. I've got more patience. I know to stop and listen and to look around. The most important thing I can say about that is I can see much better. What it really means is I'm a bit more mindful when I get to the scene and spend more time looking for the composition and looking what's going on around me so I can find a better shot. Somebody once said to me, why don't you stretch out your life as if it was a piece of string? Let's say it's a meter long, you know, and you mark on it where you are now. It's getting quite close to the end of it. And that really gives me a sense of urgency. And I think I'm one of those people who always will be driven to do stuff. I'll never stop. I'll never be entirely satisfied I've done everything that I want to do. But that gives you some real desire to carry on creating. I want to create my best work, and I hope I can help you guys do the same. So let me just talk you through what I'm doing here. I've set up in a location, and the thing I've taken biggest notice of is the light. You can see it breaking through the clouds and a little patch of blue sky. And I'm just trying a couple of long exposures. I've got my tripod set up. I've got it set up very low because it is so windy and I'm worried about getting some shake. And I will take a picture without an ND filter on at all, with a fast shutter speed, just so I can get the boat nice and sharp in case the camera is moving. I don't mind a bit of blur in the water behind. Tide is quite a long way out, and I do like some blur in the clouds, so I'm trying to get a nice pattern in the clouds to give me some composition. I'm aiming to get one shot, but I'm going to take some advice from Bruce Percy, which I've ignored up until this video. And his advice was, treat your first composition as a draft and then refine it. And that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to have a look at my first shot. I'm going to chimp. I'm going to look and see what goes back in the photograph. And then I'm going to just try maybe 2 or 3 slightly different options, different camera heights, moving a little bit to the left, moving a little bit to the right, and see which of those is the best shot. And I'll share my best shot with you at the end of the video. So if any of you have subscribed to my email list, you'll know I sent out an email recently suggesting you might try a technique of using a constraint for your photography, you know, choosing one lens. Well, how about choosing only taking photos that are 30 minutes drive from your home? That's what Patrick Crone did, and he won an international exhibition with it. You could even confine yourself to one location, just go back at different times of day, in different light, different seasons. All those sort of things will help give you some more creative spark. And one of the things that I know a lot of people find useful, and it's something I've just decided to do, if you want some help with your photography, if you would like somebody to look at your best photos and give you an honest opinion and some tips for how you might improve your photography, then I've just opened up some portfolio reviews. I'll leave a link in the description. I'm only going to do about 5 a month, so if there's a slot free, I would urge you to grab it, because there's a limit really to how much time I have to do this. Now, I'm going to leave you with a thought and my photograph that I took. And my thought is this: the best photography years of your life are not the ones where you had the most energy or the newest camera. They're the ones where you finally knew what you were looking for. And if you're watching this, I think that's right now. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.